And just like that, we are back with our live Newsday TV LI Votes 2024 election coverage. We want to get to Congressional District 2, that race. Andrew Garbarino declaring victory. Let's hear what he has to say right now.
But I'll tell you, I could not have won this race if it wasn't for Chairman Garcia, Chairman Mike Torres of the Conservative Party, my staff, my team from D.C., they all came up. The wonderful Republican Committee of Suffolk County. We have seen what has happened to our country over the last 4 years, and we showed today that we aren't going to take it anymore. We need to continue to fight, and hopefully next year, with Donald Trump as president, a Republican Senate, Republican House, we can close our border, we can lower taxes, and we can get our economy back on the right level again. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless America, and let's finish this tonight. I was done. Nobody was paying attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Garbarino, one more time.
All right, that was Representative Andrew Garbarino securing a third term. That was his victory speech. He is holding on to that seat in the House for the Republicans. Just before we heard from Representative Nick LaLota, who also secured a second term for him, holding on to that seat in District 1, which again is a big portion of the island. D2 is the South Shore of Suffolk County. So that's those of you who live in Avlon out to East Mauritius. We are still closely watching the races in Congressional District 3 and 4. Of course, that is the race from Suozzi and LaPetrie and Laura Gillen and Anthony D'Esposito. So we've got a lot yet to cover tonight. Let's talk about the presidential race, because we have so much more than just these local elections to talk about. So in the race for the White House, in the popular vote right now, Donald Trump with 53% of the vote against Kamala Harris right now. Now, in the end, this race will be decided by the Electoral College. This is the map here. They need 270 Electoral College votes to win, to secure the presidency. Right now, Kamala Harris has 113 and Donald Trump has 210 electoral votes. So we are watching this closely, watching those swing states that we could be waiting on for a while. So we'll check back on that. But also at stake tonight is the balance of power in the House. So we know here on Long Island, D1 and D2 are safe Republican seats. Still up in the air on others across New York. We'll take a look at those in just a bit. Republicans right now with 152 seats in the House and Democrats with 98. They need 218 for control of the House. Again, in the 1st Congressional District, Nick LaLota has been declared the winner. So we'll move on from that one on to D2. We just heard a victory speech from Long Island senior Congressman Andrew Garbarino. In D2, he has been declared the winner. There's the full screen for you there. So we've got 2 victory speeches tonight. Let's move on to District 3. Democratic Congressman Tom Suozzi, just a few months after he won that special election to replace Republican George Santos, running against Republican Mike LaPetrie. So Suozzi, the Democrat, hoping to hold on to this seat for the Democrats in the House. And in what may be the most closely watched race, this very tight rematch between incumbent Republican Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, this is the 4th district here, against Democratic veteran Laura Gillen here in the 4th right now. Oh, I'm just hearing from my producer that D'Esposito is speaking right now. So let's get over to that as soon as they're ready. Hear what he has to say. Here we go.
Over the last 4 years, Nassau County Republicans have been fighting each and every day, electing a county executive that's a Republican, taking all 3 towns in North Hempstead, Hempstead, and Oyster Bay, 2 cities in Glen Cove and Long Beach. And this year, we knew this was going to be a tough race. We are ready to go to the mat, and I am hopeful that as soon as we get the results, there will continue to be a Republican representing the 4th Congressional District. Thank you, everybody. God bless.
One more time, Anthony D'Esposito. We only have about 55% of the districts in. We have all the early voting in
All right, that was Joe Cairo speaking. We are having some technical difficulties with that one, so we're going to have to pull out for just a minute. That's the chairman of the Nassau Republican Committee. He spoke just after Representative D'Esposito spoke, trying to keep that energy high there. He says he knew it's going to be a tough race. He is holding on to hope right now. He's hopeful. Again, just trying to keep that energy high as D1 and D2 for the congressional races have been declared for the Republicans. So let's check in Holtsville with our Andrew Anger. He's in Suffolk County in Holtsville with the Democrats. What's going on there, Andrew?
Well, here in Holtsville, the Suffolk County Democrats, well, they've had some highs and some lows, but now they're really looking at some of the down ballot races, especially in the state assembly. The Assembly District 4, which is where Rebecca Cassay is trying to go up against Ed Flood, who is the incumbent in that district. The race right now, we don't have a winner as of yet, but we did get a chance to speak to Ms. Cassay just a few minutes ago. So, how did it feel out there today? What were the folks at the ballot telling you today?
So for me, I was still out in the field. Like this whole campaign, it's about going and meeting people where they're at. So I was knocking doors until 8:50 down in Gordon Heights, making sure that voters had their voices heard. And everyone's just grateful to see a candidate who's out there connecting with people and really trying to make their voices heard.
Do you feel you can flip this seat?
I sure hope that our message resonated with voters. For me, it's about bringing public service back to politics, and that's what it's always been. So I hope to do that.
All right, numbers are still coming in, but feeling confident?
Hey, you gotta look to the people, and I don't count chickens before they hatch. So.
Well, that is definitely some good advice right now. A lot of candidates here in some of the races are just too close to call. Definitely don't count your chickens before they're hatched. We're in Holtsville. Andrew Anger, NewsdayTV. Macy?
Andrew, let's check in with Sherry Einhorn at Suffolk GOP headquarters in Patchogue. There's a lot going on there, Sherry. What's the latest?
Here at Suffolk GOP headquarters, as we've been talking, there is a lot of people, there's a lot of energy. If I step out of the shot, you can see there are people milling about. Suffolk GOP Chairman Jesse Garcia has been on the stage a couple of times already, announcing some of the judicial candidates. A little while ago, we heard from Congressman Nick LaLota. We also heard from Congressman Andrew Garbarino. They say they're feeling confident in their races. We see Nick LaLota, we saw Andrew Garbarino. We're going to try and get them over here to talk to them and find out why they think voter turnout here in Suffolk County did so well, why so many people headed to the polls, why Republicans say they are still feeling very confident. We're going to have a lot more for you as soon as we can get to some of the candidates. For now, we're at Suffolk GOP headquarters in Patchogue. I'm Sherry Einhorn. Macy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Sherry. Let's get over to Virginia Huey now. She is in Garden City with the Democrats for us tonight. Virginia, what's going on there?
Well, Macy, all eyes are on the 4th Congressional District. In 2022, that district flipped red with Anthony D'Esposito's victory. But in the rematch, Laura Gillen says she is taking an entirely different approach. She started her campaign earlier. She set up more campaign offices, and she deployed more volunteers to knock on doors. And joining me now is legislator Deborah Muley, who has also helped out with her campaign. Tell us what you saw. Was it a different energy?
Absolutely, there was a different energy. I think what happened 2 years ago really taught all of us a lesson that we needed to just get out there and make sure that Laura got in this time. And I saw it in all of the efforts, and that applied to all of the other candidates as well, the Democrat candidates. We had what was called a coordinated campaign, and so everyone was working together. There was a great synergy. Everyone was knocking on doors for each other. People were at train stations for each other. And I really thought that it was a great effort, an effort that I hadn't seen before. So I think this is a pathway to a new way for us.
What did you see as the response from the residents, the voters out there?
Fantastic. When I was at the train stations and talking to people, in the first place, so many people took advantage of early voting. But in the second place, it was overwhelmingly positive for Laura Gillen and the other Democrat candidates in the train stations that I went to.
And is there something different about the message this time around, not only from Laura, but from everyone?
Well, I think particularly from Laura, she was talking about reproductive freedoms a lot, and she used her own personal story as a way to talk about that, something that I think was incredibly brave of her to share that very personal story. But I think she was able to relate it in a way that people could really understand. So that was very, very effective in my opinion. But I think the general energy was just so great and so positive.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Now, this room is packed at this point. If you try to walk around here, it's very difficult. There's so many people here, and there's so much energy and excitement. They have a very good feeling about the 3rd and 4th congressional districts. That is the latest from Garden City. I'll send it back to you, Macy.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Thanks, Virginia. Let's take a look at the results again in the race for the White House. This is the popular vote. Donald Trump leading Kamala Harris with the popular vote for the White House. Let's get to the Electoral College here. This is what will decide who is our next president. They need 270 Electoral College votes to secure the presidency. Right now, Kamala Harris has 179 and Donald Trump has 214. We're keeping a close eye on those swing states. Also at stake, as you know, the balance of power in the House. This is where things stand right now. This has been changing every time we go. Take another look at it for you. Democrats hold 105 seats in the House, while Republicans hold 158. They need 218 for control of the House. We know they have at least 2 of Long Island's 4 districts. Let's move on and take a look at those. We do know we have the winner, right? We heard the victory speech from Nick LaLota, Representative Nick LaLota. He has secured a 2nd term. That's District 1. Let's move to District 2, where we heard from Andrew Garbarino with his victory speech, the Republican securing a 3rd term against Democrat Rob Lubin. In District 3, still closely watching this race against Democrat Tom Suozzi and Republican Mike LaPetri. Tom Suozzi leading this one. This hasn't changed a whole lot. So we are still waiting for these results here in District 3. Let's take a look at D4, see if this has changed at all since the last time we took a peek at it. Not really. So we are waiting for a lot of votes to come in to see the results of District 3 and 4. Again, Democrats trying to hold on to their seat in the 3rd and take it back from Republicans in the 4th. We heard from Anthony D'Esposito trying to keep that energy high after a couple of wins in D1 and D2. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what happens. In the U.S. Senate seat here in New York, we know Democrat incumbent Kirsten Gillibrand has secured another term. She won against Michael Sapricone and Diane Sayre. So she is hanging on to that one. Let's see what we've got next for our boards. We're moving on to the touchscreen. Quick mention, Proposition 1 and Proposition 2 have passed. Now we want to get over to our newsroom at the touchscreen. We've got Ken Buffa and Joy Brown breaking down some of the races out there. What's going out there, Ken and Joy?
All right, thanks so much, Macy. Yes, we do have some numbers for you. We have the congressional districts here on the island 1 through 4. And Joy, why don't you tell us a little bit of what we're seeing? And we did hear some speeches already.
Yeah, we did hear some speeches. We know now that in District number 1, Nick LaLota is projected to be the winner there. We did hear him make an acceptance speech. We also know that in District number 2, we just heard from Andrew Garbarino. Newsday has also declared him a winner in this race. Let's talk about Nassau County for just a second. We're just beginning to get more vote totals in. So at this particular case, looking at the 3rd district, now with 83.47% reporting, Suozzi enjoys a lead over Mr. Petrie, 52 to 47. And let's go take a look at 4. Now 4 is kind of interesting. 78.31% reporting. Laura Gillen, 50 and some change. Tony D'Esposito, 49 and some change. D'Esposito spoke at Republican headquarters in Nassau County. He says he is not conceding and this race is not over.
That's right. It's not over by a long shot as of right now. But let's look at the presidential race and what's going on right now. Because as you can see, we have some more states that have been called and also some more swing states that are still just shaded red. Now, if we take a look at the board of these, again, this blue wall up here that both candidates are vying for, Wisconsin. Michigan and Pennsylvania still not called, but at this hour, they are leaning red. Now, let's move ourselves over to Georgia and North Carolina. They have been pretty much red the whole night, but still not called, but leading red. But now, as we mentioned in our last hit, Arizona has entered the chat. Arizona is leading red at this hour, but still not called. Nevada has yet to report some numbers that we can come in through AP, but we also are noticing that California has been called. That's in favor of Kamala Harris. You can see down here in the electoral votes how much of a climb Kamala has made in the last few moments, because you can see that about an hour ago, she was just under maybe 120. She's up 179, where Donald Trump is plateauing as of this moment at 214. Not saying it'll stay there, but we are saying right now that it stayed there for about 10 minutes or so. But Joy, what do you think about this board? What do you think about what's going on right now?
Well, you know what? I'm going to ask you to pull Nassau County back up. Let's pull Long Island back up for just a second. I want you to pay some attention here, because with those new Nassau numbers that have come in, let's take a look at Nassau. Last time we were here, Nassau was a blue.
That's right.
With these new numbers at 74.20% reporting now, again, you see Kamala Harris with the winner's circle here. That's New York State. Donald Trump is leading in Nassau County now. Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk are red.
That's right, and you can see right here Suffolk County numbers also on the board. You can see that 376 for Donald, 303 for Kamala Harris. Macy, I know you have some more news for us, so we'll send it right back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Yeah, we want to get over to Congressional District 1 race, that race for the House seat. John Avlon, the Democrat, is conceding in D1. Let's take a listen.
I love the work and the heart you all put into this campaign. From the beginning of this campaign, I said we would fight the good fight. And that's true. We fought the good fight. Not every good fight wins the first time. The good fight never ends. The good fight's perpetual. And what we're facing in Suffolk County tonight isn't the outcome we wanted. It's a hard night in Suffolk County for us Democrats. It's a hard night for many Democrats in the country. But the fight continues. And it's really important for us to keep the energy up, to understand that this is not a time for us to shirk back, but it's a time for folks to step up continuously. Because the good fight never ends, and democracy depends on loving your country no matter who's president. Patriotism requires a renewable resource, that we know there's always another election, that we regroup, and the core premise of our campaign continues and arguably is more urgent than ever, and will be shown in the days and months and weeks ahead. That we need. I said from the beginning that we would build a broad, bipartisan, patriotic coalition to defend American democracy. That need remains, arguably more urgent than ever in the days ahead. I said that we would rebuild the middle, and we still desperately need to rebuild the middle. Here in Suffolk County and across the country, we need to rebuild the middle of our politics, and we need to rebuild the middle of our economy, and that need is as urgent as ever. This will be a testing time. This will be a testing time. God bless you, whoever brought you here. But what I want us to keep in mind is that the good fight goes on. The need to rebuild the middle remains urgent, that we've got to do that as a country and as a community here in Suffolk County. And I say with love and gratitude in my heart, I want to acknowledge Nick LaLotta's campaign, and he won this campaign. But our work will continue. We need to come together as a country and a community, and I want you to feel good about the good fight and know that the good fight continues. We will continue to work together. Suffolk County is a beautiful place, and we will continue to honor it by engaging in our civic structures, by rolling up our sleeves and getting in the arena, never looking back and never regretting that. Because our country and our community is worth it. So I want to thank you for all the blessings you've given me in the course of this campaign. Let's show the grace that we want to receive. Let's set the example in our democracy that we want to be. Let's be gracious, let's be determined, let's remain optimistic, and let's always remain patriotic. Thank you all so much. God bless you all. John Avlon, everyone.
All right, you just heard from Democrat John Avlon conceding the race in Congressional District 1 to Republican Nick LaLota, who has secured his second term. He says they fought the good fight and that a good fight never ends. Encouraged people to love their country no matter who is president. Stay with Newsday TV all night for our live election coverage. We will take a look at more results on the local level, on the national level. Take a look at how they will impact you here on Long Island. Also, check out newsday.com/LIvotes for more in-depth coverage and results there as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Newsday's LI Votes 2024 election coverage. We have been talking all night long about the results as they come into the newsroom and how it will impact you here on Long Island. We've been talking about the congressional races in districts 1 through 4. We know 2 of them have flipped. Or excuse me, 2 of them have remained in control of the Republicans. Excuse me. We are still waiting on the results in the 3rd and 4th. We'll get to that. But hey, we need to talk about some local races that we haven't gotten to just yet tonight, beginning with the state Senate. So we know statewide that there are open seats after more than a dozen prominent senators and assembly members announced their retirements, the most in a decade, actually. A Democratic control of both chambers is not expected to be threatened, but Democrats are trying to regain and expand some supermajorities. So let's take a look at that. In the state Senate races in District 1, we've got Republican Anthony Palumbo seeking his 3rd term. He's been declared a winner in D1. Moving on to D2, Republican Mario Matera hoping to secure his 3rd term, and he has. Moving on to D3, Republican Dean Murray hoping for a 2nd term. He has secured it and been declared the winner tonight. In D4, Teresa Bryant taking on Democrat Monica Martinez, and Monica Martinez secures her 3rd term in the state Senate. Republican Stephen Rhodes in District 5 seeking a 2nd term. He has been declared the winner in that race. In District 6, this is Kevin Thomas's seat. He gave it up to run for Congress. Republican Thomas Montefinis and Democrat Sela Bino. Sela Bino right now with 62% of the vote. Moving on to District 7, again for state Senate seats. Republican Jack Martin's hoping to secure a 2nd term, running against Democrat Kim Kaiserman. No winner declared in that one just yet. We'll keep an eye on it. District 8, Republican incumbent Alexis Wyke is running against Democrat Francis Dolan, and Wyke has been declared the winner in D8. Over in District 9, Republican Patricia Canzanieri Fitzpatrick is running against Democrat James Lynch. We'll keep an eye on that race for you. Okay, so bringing back former State Assemblyman Jerry Kremer, he's with us tonight. He used to be the chairman of the State Ways and Means Committee. You know what's going on. So let's talk about these state Senate races.
I mean, clearly the Kevin Thomas seat means that the Democratic majority, they keep that one seat. So I don't think that's going to change much. I'm surprised that we don't have more information on the Martins race, which, you know, that's up to the Board of Elections to tell us. And we're used to the Board of Elections not telling us. So, but they've been a little better this year. So far, Senate, nothing jolting. The key now is to see if there's any change in the Assembly. But from the standpoint of the Albany power structure in the Senate, they've kept the Kevin Thomas seat. They kept the Monica Martinez seat. It's a really strange dichotomy, if you will. The Republicans have a large delegation, but they're in the minority. So that Monica Martinez and the Kevin Thomas successor, Sheila, they will play a major role in what Long Island gets. So, but it has been hard for the Democrats to crack into the, if you will, the Suffolk wall. And somehow they haven't come up with a formula that works. But as I say, they kept the Monica Martinez seat and the Kevin Thomas seat. So from the standpoint of the power structure in the Senate, they've got to be happy about Long Island.
Yeah, not a ton of change that we're seeing. Let's go through the state assembly because we haven't seen those results here yet. So we want to get to those for you and show you what's going on. In District 1, we'll take a look at that for the state assembly. Republican Stephen Kiley is running against Democrat Thomas Scavone. Scavone has been declared the winner in this race. This is Fred Thiel's seat, who is retiring after 29 years. This represents the East End, the North and South Fork.
Scavone, by the way, Scavone, a well-known local name, family in Sag Harbor, has stores there for many, many years, worked very hard, and the district tilted blue, so it's not a surprising pickup, but it was definitely highly contested.
Yeah. Let's talk about D2 really quick. Jody Giglio, the incumbent in this race, the Republican, has been declared the winner in this one, so she secures a 3rd term. In District 2, Republican Joseph DeStefano seeking his 4th term. He's won it against Trina Miles. In District 4, Republican Ed Flood is running against Democrat Rebecca Cassay. And this one, wow, very tight race here. We'll keep an eye on that state assembly race in District 4. In District 5, Republican Douglas Smith is running against Democrat Michael Reynolds. He has been declared the winner in D5. In D6, Republican Daniel Matola is running against Democrat Philip Ramos, who is the deputy speaker of the assembly, and he has secured his 12th term. In District 7, Republican Jarrett Gandolfo is running against Democrat Jarrett Peterson. and Gandolfo has secured another term, his third. In District 8, Republican Michael Fitzpatrick is running against Stephen Basilio, the 24-year-old Democrat, but Fitzpatrick has secured a 12th term. And District 9, Republican Mike Durso has secured his third term against Democrat Stephen Della Vecchia. That's 1 through 9. Shall we continue and move on to D10, or are there any? Okay, let's see what's going on in the rest of the assembly districts. We haven't seen them just yet, so let's move on to D10. Right, Democrat Steve Stern running against Republican Amir Sultan. And Steve Stern has secured his third term. District 11, Joseph Cardinale, the Republican, is running against Democrat Kwani O'Farrow. This is Kimberly Jean-Pierre's seat. She's not seeking re-election. Very tight race in D11. We'll keep an eye on it. In District 12, Republican Keith Brown is running against Democrat Thomas Cox. And Keith Brown has secured his third term. In District 13, Republican Ruka Anzai taking on Democrat Charles Levine, 77 years old. He's held his assembly seat for 19 years now. He's chair of the Assembly Judiciary Committee. Hasn't been called there. We'll keep an eye on it. District 14, Republican David McDonough. We were talking about this, Jerry. 87 years old. He was elected to his seat in 2002. He's chair of the Assembly's Minority Task Force on Public Safety, running against 54-year-old Ellen Lederer DeFrancesco. What can you tell us about McDonough?
Well, clearly he likes Albany.
Yeah.
So that's really part of it. And I think the answer is that David is one of a number of people in Albany. We call them lifers. They really like the place. They want to stay there. And more power to him. If he's got the energy to make the trips every week back and forth to Albany, then so be it.
What's that drive like, Jerry?
It's for a Long Islander, it's 3.5 hours.
Yeah, that gets long, right? But he must love what he does. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that race. Also, let's move on to District 15. Republican Jake Blumenkranz, a 28-year-old, running against Democrat William Murphy here in the Oyster Bay area, Plainview, Brookville. This race has been all over social media. We should talk about how social media has affected the election results, but Jake Blumenkranz right now leading this one. He's seeking his second term. In District 16, Republican Daniel Norber is running against Democrat Gina Saliti. A tight race here, too. Daniel Norber with the lead. What's going on in District 16?
This is a race that the Nassau Republicans targeted because of the fact that a good portion of the district is within the town of North Hempstead, which is a Republican area. So you're talking about 76% of the vote. That's really pretty too close because Gina Saliti is a fairly popular incumbent. So this one is still a toss-up.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on it. Let's move on to District 17. John McEulin, the Republican, the incumbent. He was elected in 2018, running against Democrat Harpreet Kaur. He's got 64%. McEulin does right now. 1% of the expected total vote. Okay, so we're waiting on a lot in the 17th district. Let's move to District 18, see what's going on there. Republican Danielle Smeichel running against Democrat Noah Burrows. This is Taylor Darling's seat. She was elected in 2018. This is the battle of the teachers. They're both teachers. Smeichel is a high school teacher in Uniondale, and Burrows teaches history in the Hempstead Union Free School District. Right now, Burrows with a pretty commanding lead, but again, we're still waiting on several results in the 18th district. Let's see what's going on in D19. Ed Ruh, the Republican, hoping to secure his 8th term tonight. Right now, he's got a pretty commanding lead. Moving on to District 20, Republican Eric R.E. Brown is hoping to secure a 3rd term tonight. He's running against 58-year-old Tina Posterly, the Democrat from Long Beach. District 21, Republican Brian Curran and Democrat Judy Griffin. In 21, this seat has flip-flopped as far as I understand it. Curran served in the Assembly for 8 years before Judy, and then won the seat back. So Griffin represented it from 2019 to 2022. She's hoping to get it back again from Curran. Right now, very tight here. So we'll see what happens with that. And finally, District 22 for your state assembly, Republican Ian Bergstrom running against Democrat Michael Szilagyi, the incumbent. She's got a pretty good lead over him right now.
Yeah,
so
Michelle Szilagyi's interesting candidacy. She's the head of the Black Puerto Rican Asian Caucus. Has become a very powerful figure in Albany, close to the speaker. She's going to be a major player in Albany. So Long Island is her launching pad, but she's got a lot of credentials favoring her, and she's going to be a player on a long-term basis.
All right, let's talk about the congressional races. I know we've been getting into those a lot tonight, but we haven't gotten to hear from you on them. We've got a winner declared in District 1 and District 2 for the Republicans. I want to hear your thoughts as we stand so far in the night.
Well, District 1 was an uphill battle for a Democrat, only because while it traditionally would switch Democrat to Republican and vice versa, with some tweaks in the redistricting, which were obviously a compromise between the Democrats and the Republicans, they made that district a little bit more red, which really helped Leota because he obviously had a strong challenge from John Avlon, who raised a lot of money and spent a lot of money. But I don't think that district changes for the foreseeable future. It's more than likely going to be a red district for a long time. The second victory is, you have an incumbent congressman who really, there were no major issues that they could raise against him. And the fact of the matter, he also became fairly popular with both Democrats and Republicans. So it was an R win, but, not of any shock value.
Yeah. So Republicans holding on to District 1 and District 2 for the House, but let's talk District 3 and District 4. Again, still waiting on some results in those races. But what are your thoughts? If we could maybe pull up the results as we have them now for District 3 for this congressional race and see just kind of where we're at right now. But Jerry, what are your thoughts as we're waiting for those results to come in 3 and 4 as Democrats are trying to grab those seats?
While the Swazi number looked a little bit, closer, he also, his district goes partially into Queens, which is a good extra votes for the Democrat. So, I mean, absent some, tornado, which I don't think is going to happen between now and later, I think that with 58% of the vote, and I think Swazi has enough of a cushion that I suspect he can carry it. Plus, it is a Nassau-Queens district.
It just updated. So we've got 83% of the expected total vote in now, with 52% of voters supporting Tom Swazi. So we'll see what happens there. Again, we are waiting on, we'll get to more victory speeches later on in the night, people conceding the race. So we've got a lot to get to. What's going on in the 4th? If this just updated, let's see if we can get some new results for District 4 for the congressional race. This is the tight race, the rematch between Laura Gillen and Anthony D'Esposito, the Republican, hoping to secure a second term. Yeah, this hasn't changed a whole lot, so we're still waiting on some results for District 4.
These are still, I think these numbers are being held back by the Board of Elections because it promises to be close. This is sort of a vanity effort on the part of Joe Cairo, the Nassau chairman. He really wants to keep this seat if he can. He's on the Republican National Committee. He obviously would like to show that he didn't lose any seats on Long Island. So it's I think we're going to be waiting for a while with the real numbers.
All right. Anything else that you want to touch on, Jerry, this far in the night before we move on to see what's going on in other places?
It is interesting that once again that in Nassau County, where there are more Democratic enrolled voters than there are Republican voters, somehow in Nassau County the numbers are just not really moving. Part of it may be that Nassau County is really not a strong organization in the state. The Nassau Republican organization is well-oiled, they work hard, and they also have the benefit that there's still a lot of people connected to the party and to public, the whole public positions. But the Nassau should be more Democratic, but it's not. I don't know if it's a reflection of the top of the ticket, because in New York, the top of the ticket leans to the Democrats. But there's a lot to be said that for Nassau, they surely ought to be able to produce one seat to show nationally that they're in the making. Upstate New York is going to yield great dividends for the Democratic Party nationally. I think Jay Jacobs would like to have a win in Nassau, but the numbers are still not final. Okay,
we'll be back with Jerry, but we want to check in with Sherry Einhorn. She is in Suffolk County with the Republicans right now at GOP headquarters in Patchogue. Sherry, what's going on there? A lot of energy there tonight.
Macy, we had Congressman Congressman Nick LaLota and Congressman Andrew Garbarino on stage a little while ago, both claiming victory in their races. Obviously, this election cycle, there's been a lot of talk about the balance of power at the congressional level. We spoke with Nick LaLota a little while ago. Here's what he told us.
We got a lot of supporters here, a lot of patriotic people who want to put our great country back on the right track. They recognize our borders wide open. They recognize that the federal government spends way too much money, and this administration has appeased America's adversaries way too much. Iran, Russia, China are all picking us apart. They know that America needs to be on a better track, and I'm happy to represent them in that.
That was Congressman Nick LaLota from the 1st Congressional District. He told us his top 3 priorities when he gets back to work in the new term would be border security, with the economy, inflation, things like that, but also the SALT tax deduction. That's a topic he and I talked a lot about at the Republican National Convention over the summer. Now, again, that was Congressman Nick LaLota claiming victory for his 2nd term. That's the very latest here at Suffolk GOP headquarters. I'm Sherry Einhorn, Macy.
All right, thank you, Sherry. Let's stay in Suffolk County. Let's head out to Holtsville, where Andrew Enger is with the Democrats. What's going on there, Andrew?
Well, Mel, basically Suffolk County Democrats picking up a few victories here tonight in the Assembly and the Senate, but also a few bittersweet losses that certainly some people here feeling the sting of that loss. Now, one of the highlights here today was seems that Deputy Speaker Phil Ramos in Assembly District 6, which is Central Islip and Brentwood, he will be heading back to Albany. We spoke to him just a few moments ago. Phil, numbers still coming in, but are you feeling confident?
Oh, yes. Numbers are in. They're pretty much, the majority is already reported. We expect with the absentee votes will be over 70%. And I am here celebrating. I'm very grateful to my voters. It's been 20 years I've been in office. I'm now Deputy Speaker of the New York State Assembly and Dean of the Long Island delegation. So I'm hopeful that we get more members, because the more members we get of the majority, which are Democrats, the more we can harness to improve conditions in Suffolk County.
So far, how do you think the Harris-Walz ticket has affected Long Island races?
Well, I think it's motivated people on both sides. I know in my community, which leans Democrats, about 3-1 Democrat, the lines were, down the block in most of the polls. Let's see if that's enough to carry Long Island. Traditionally Long Island has kind of leaned Republican. But we're hopeful. Jury's still out. We're very nervous for our country. And, really, whether you're Democrat or Republican, whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, regardless of what you believe in and what policy you believe in, if we destroy our democracy, none of that matters. And I think that's what is at stake now, and I hope that the voters reflect that in the results.
As you saw right here on NewsdayTV, we have seen some concession speeches from Suffolk County Democrats, including John Avlon and also Rob Lubin. Those are 2 congressional races that Democrats here hope to pick up, but obviously in the end were not to be. But of course, they're still keeping their fingers crossed for some national races later on today or in the future. We're in Holtsville. Andrew Enger, NewsdayTV. Maisie?
Thanks, Andrew. A lot going on at the local level. And speaking of national races, let's talk about the race to the White House. We have just learned that Donald Trump has won North Carolina, one of the 7 swing states that we've been keeping an eye on. So Democrats right now, Kamala Harris with 192 Electoral College votes and Donald Trump with 230. They need 270 to win. Again, Donald Trump has just won North Carolina. That's one of the swing states everyone is keeping a very close eye on right now. All right, let's go back to the local level. Let's get over to Virginia Huey. She is in Garden City with the Democrats for us tonight. Virginia.
Macy, we've been talking a lot about the 4th Congressional District, but there are other races that are important to Long Islanders, and one of them is the 3rd Congressional District. And joining me live now is legislator Delia Ridgey-Whitten to talk about Tom Suozzi's race.
Yes, I'm optimistic with the numbers that I've seen, and I think Tom has worked so hard I worked with him during the special election especially, and he really hit the streets and met with so many people and really put 100% effort into it. And now with this election, he did the same. So 2 elections in 1 year, but he really did a wonderful job. And I feel confident that he is going to pull this out and represent us very well. And when you look at the nation, I mean, it's amazing that these races are just so important. So there's a lot riding on every single one of them. And I feel good about Tom.
There's also Celia Bino, who is running for the state senate in the 6th district. You saw her campaign too. It was a tough primary for her, but
again, the primary, which was just two months ago, was very tough, and she really worked so hard and didn't take anything for granted. Celia is such a strong, disciplined person. I've had the pleasure of sitting next to her for probably about 6 years now. I consider her a friend, and I really admire the way that she puts her whole heart and soul into whatever she does. And she really will stop people and correct them if she doesn't think it's going the right way. She's not afraid to stand up for the underdog, and I'm so proud of her. I'm going to miss her tremendously, but I am so happy for her and the people in her district that she will represent very, very well.
And if she does win, she will make history.
She will. And that's really something that we have to stop and recognize and appreciate about her. But she's made history already. She's really represented. She did so many things from the environment. She did a smart sprinkler legislation. She had a way of really working with the other side, bringing everyone together. Her most recent achievement was getting $1.7 million out of the ARPA money for the Hempstead Water District. And right after that happened, the state decided to put $30 million into the. So I keep telling her that she was the impetus for that, and I can't wait to see what she does on the state level.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And Nassau Democratic Party Chairman Jay Jacobs is expected to take the podium at any moment now. We will bring you his remarks when he gets here.
All right, keep us posted. Thanks, Virginia. Now let's stay in Nassau County and check in with Jill Wagner at GOP headquarters. Jill.
Macy, you could take a look behind me here at the GOP headquarters. Some of the crowd has started to leave, but a bit of a celebratory mood. Just a few moments ago, as we were reporting, the entire slate of candidates and also Chairman Joe Cairo were on the stage. The big question in the race that everybody's really paying attention to here is the congressional district, the 4th congressional district, Congressman Anthony Diaz-Pizito. As of right now, they are saying that it is simply too close to call when we might have an answer, when we might have some certainty in that race. They say they are not sure. They hope sooner rather than later. Again, they say that it is just too close to call. I did have a chance, though, to speak to State Senator Jack Martins. He represents northern Nassau County, and I asked him about what this win means to him. They are confirming that, in fact, he did win re-election. Take a listen.
The issues were all on our side. People are dissatisfied with the direction of the country, certainly of the state. People in Nassau County feel it every day. The migrant crisis just across the border, the impact on our communities, the cost of living, inflation, out of control spending, and the list goes on and on. They're looking for common sense leadership. Leadership tends to the middle, and that's what we've provided for years. And so I think they know what they get with me, and I think we've built those relationships over time, and the results kind of speak for themselves.
One of the things that we've been hearing from the chairman and from others is just the demographics in Nassau County. There's 100,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. How do you overcome that?
Well, you work hard and you work across the aisle, which is something we've always done. You know, the 7th Senate District has probably 25 or 30,000 more Democrats registered than Republicans. But we've always worked across the aisle. We work well. We understand our communities. We, as a former village mayor, we have 43 villages in the district. We work with our mayors. We work with our civic associations. fire department, volunteers, and when you work hard, you see the results.
So that was State Senator Jack Martin's, and again, the race that we are paying very close attention to, that 4th Congressional District, Congressman Anthony D'Esposito. The word from the GOP headquarters at this point is that it is too close to call. Macy.
All right, so we are hearing from Democrats in Nassau County. Tom Suozzi and Laura Gillen, who are running for the 3rd and 4th District, are speaking right now for those House seats. Oh, here's Tom Suozzi. Let's take a listen.
Let's hear it for Laura Gillen. I was listening to Jay just speak. I just want to say, the New York State Democratic Party has historically only been about electing the governor. But for the first time, the New York State Democratic Party, with Jay Jacobs and Tabby Hope, did a coordinated campaign where everybody worked together. And that's the way I hope it'll be forever. Now, I have so many people that I want to thank. But first, I want to say that I think that we all recognize that the people in the United States of America and the people in my congressional district are sick and tired of the extremism. Hello! They're sick and tired of people attacking each other all the time. They want us to work together and get things done. And that's the only reason I won this race, is because people are resonating with that message. They want us to have common ground over chaos. So I think in this campaign, the reason I won is because people know me, and they know that I reject extremism, I focus on common sense, and I try and work across party lines to get things done. I'm a Democrat, a true blue, dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. But I'll work with anybody to solve problems because I'm a true blue, dyed-in-the-wool American. So we got to secure the border, we got to get salt back, we got to bring money back to New York, and we got to heal this partisan divide. But I could not be here tonight if it wasn't for the people in this room, and I'm going to join with Jay and say, let's hear it for labor. I'm not going to mention any particular names, Anthony, but I'm just going to say that I'm so grateful to all the unions that have helped me for so long. I do have to make special mention of the Nassau County PBA, who took a big chance with the door. But in saying that, I'm not ignoring the unions that have supported me throughout my entire career and have always stuck with me, no matter what I ran for, and I'm so grateful to all of my friends that helped me in labor. I'm grateful to all the different... You can hear for the labor union. Ethnic groups that help me. I mean, I run my campaigns regionally and ethnically and constituent-wise, and I'm not going to go through them all now because Jay doesn't want me to speak for that long. But the bottom line is, I got to thank all my friends for helping get me to this point. So thank you so very much. So let me just close by saying that. Yes, let's hear it for the Democratic clubs. Let me just close by saying that I am so happy with the life choices that I've made. Because I've had the opportunity to do what I've always dreamed of doing, which is to work together with people, to try and come together to solve problems and make people's lives better. And that's the only good reason to be in politics. The people that volunteer in our campaigns, the people that contribute, the people that do so many things to make them work, do it because they really are idealists that want to make things better. And they're willing to put themselves through a lot of grief in the process because they're willing to fight to make things better. So I will always fight to try and make things better. I'll try and always work with all of you. I'm going to thank just one last group of people. Let me thank my campaign manager, Dave Fisher. Let me thank my deputy campaign manager, Sarah Caselli. Thank you to all the other elected officials. Thank you to all the other people that ran for office. Let's keep on fighting together to make the world a better place. Thank you very much, everybody.
Great pleasure to introduce you to your new Congresswoman.
I'm so grateful, first of all, to our chairman, Jay Jacobs, and the New York State Democratic Party, and the coordinated campaign that we put together. We knocked 300,000 doors. We did over 600,000 phone calls. We put together a campaign that was a winning campaign that we will emulate in the years to come. I want to thank the men and women of labor. Labor is the backbone of our middle class. You have had my back and I will have your back in Congress. Thank you so much. I want to thank the people who've been there for me from the beginning. Leader Jeffries. Hopefully soon to be Speaker Jeffries. I want to thank Congressman Steve Israel, who's been a champion for me since I got in this race. Thank you so much. I want to thank all the members of the clergy who have prayed for me. We've had a million prayers. Thank you. I talked about great grace and how lucky and blessed I've been in my life. I'm only here because of great grace. And the great grace that I got from God was to be born to a family that has gotten me through everything. I'm so grateful to my mother, Elaine, my siblings who are up here, James, Paul, Peter, and Liz, and their spouses, my husband of 25 years, Chris, children, one who could not be here tonight, Lady, I love you, who's down in Louisiana. She's there on the phone. Miles and Austin and Owen, they keep me grounded. They need this work worthwhile, and they're the reason that I'm in this game. I want to thank my amazing team that worked so hard. I mean, we worked so hard in this campaign that I could never be standing here without them. And so, let's start. I want to say all of your names if I can, because you all worked so hard. All right. We've got Joy Mitchell. We've got Caitlin Gavin. We've got Joe Gonzalez. We've got Hunter. I'm sorry, Hunter. Steven Gracia. We've got Natalie Goggin. We've got Kamani Petlier. We've got Mia Levine. Kayla McKenzie. Joey Ramirez. Chris Murray. Kevin Stewart. Anaya Vance. N.I.E. Weber. And then I have my finance team, Ben Hunt, Ryan McKenna, and Jeff Goldberg. We also have Max Sloman and Travis Nelson. And of course, my manager, Sarah Carlson, who kept all the things. I also didn't acknowledge my father-in-law, 638 local labor man. And each and every one of you who came out, who made a phone call, who knocked on a door, who talked to their neighbors, who talked to their friends, who did the hard work. None of us could be here without each and every one of you. So thank you so much for making this night possible for me, for Tom, and for everybody in this room. I'm so grateful to all of you. I congratulate my friend Tom Swazi on his victory tonight. And I look forward to working with him. It's time to turn a new page. It's time to get Congress back to work again for everyday people. It's time to stop pointing fingers and start getting the work done and reaching across the aisle and solving the problems that we need solved. And I look forward to humbly serving every constituent of this district. It doesn't matter if you're an R or a D or a blank. I'm here to work for all of you, and I look forward to delivering for you in the next Congress. Thank you, everybody. If I forgot you, I'm so sorry. I'll thank you when I get sworn in. And let's go have a great evening. Congratulations to all the people who won. All right, New York Court, let's go!
All right, there you go. You just heard from Laura Gillen. Nassau Democrats declaring victory in congressional districts 3 and 4. Right there, this was a tight race, this rematch between Democrat Laura Gillen and Republican Anthony D'Esposito, who was hoping to secure that second term. But Gillen has been declared the winner in District 4, so she has flipped that seat for the Democrats. Before Laura Gillen, we heard from Tom Swazi in District 3 as he gave a victory speech for that race. I'm not sure if that race has been called just yet, but Tom Swazi, a Democrat, hoping to be holding on to that seat. So on Long Island, District 1 and 2 held by the Republicans and District 3 and 4 held by the Democrats as far as the House seats are concerned. Let's go over to Ken Buffa and Joy Brown there in the newsroom with a look at some other results for us. Hey, guys.
Hey, Macy. Yeah, you were just talking about those 4 districts, and we actually have some numbers here to play with. So, Joy, why don't you take us through all these districts and also explain a little bit about the numbers and the voting and those margins we've been seeing all night.
Well, District number 1, we have declared. Nick LaLota has been declared the winner. District number 2, again, Andy Garbarino is on his way back. Mm-hmm. District number 3, we just heard Tom Swazi give an acceptance speech. We have not yet heard from Mr. LaPetri. And in District 4, this is kind of interesting. We just heard Laura Gillen give an acceptance speech. She's declared victory. But we heard earlier from Anthony D'Esposito saying he's not conceding anything, that he intends to fight on through the absentee ballots.
All right, so now let's take a look at the presidential map and see how that's shaping up right now. Now, obviously, you heard earlier in the night, we did get North Carolina. They have called that already for Trump. So he has those 16 electoral colleges in his camp, 230 to 209 right now. But there are still a bunch of swing states, and including that blue wall that is up for play. Now, keep in mind, whoever wins all 3, that's 44 electoral ballots, which will do great for either candidate. But those right now at this hour have not yet been called. Arizona has been red pretty much for the entire night since it started tabulating, and you can see right now it is still red, but yet to be called. Now, when we go out to Georgia, Georgia is what we've been watching for a while and pretty much all night. And if we click into Georgia, you can see right now 93% expected total votes, all in favor for Donald Trump at this hour. And you see that Kamala is down by roughly 200 or 100,000 votes in this area. Now, is this a surprise at this point? Now, Savannah, obviously highly populated, a little more populated in these rural areas, but you can see here Kamala taking the lead there by like roughly 20,000 votes, 59-28 to 39-97. Do you think Georgia at any point might turn blue? Or are we sticking with red for the night? We'll still have to wait and see. But again, it's not over until it's over. At this point in time, just at the rate you're watching this, 230, Donald Trump, 209 for Kamala Harris. Again, this North Carolina blow, that is a total of 16 electoral votes. That's not going for the Democrat, but instead going for the Republican Donald Trump. And at this hour, again, Arizona pointing red. You can see it right here. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, the blue wall, what everyone's looking for that 44, that right now is leading to the right, which is a win for the Republicans. Yet not called. Please keep that in mind. But that's what it's looking like across the nation right now. But Donald Trump with the lead, 230, 209. We still have a lot of voting left. Now, of course, you know things change. It always does. We've seen through the minutes and through the moments how much this is changing. So make sure you keep it locked here to Newsday TV, and also check us out online at newsday.com/LI votes. It's winding down, but it is not over.